Hi guys, so I hope you're enjoying my video every day that I'm going to be doing for the month of November while I try and get through my, pile of opportunity, because everything I brought, I've had, I think at least a year, between a year and 2 years, all the stuff that I've been buying. And yeah, now it's time for me to try and get a bit of a dent in it. So one of those things that I've kind of had on my shelf or even in a cupboard is this lovely big box with an absolute ton of miniatures. And obviously I don't play Warhammer 40k, play a bit of Kill Team, but that's about it. So this big box set I bought purely for all the lovely miniatures, mainly because I want to do a bit of kit bashing. So that's why most of the miniatures I've got, I reckon about 90% of my pile of opportunity I bought because obviously I love the miniatures, but I want to do something with them, whether it's a diorama or kit bash. There's only about 10% of what I bought I actually play with. So this is what I'm going to be doing some fun with today on, I believe it's day 5. So day 5 of 30, and we're going to do something with this. So unlike a lot of the boxes I've got, this one has actually been opened, and I have put together and painted some of the miniatures, which is pretty cool. As you can see, absolutely shed load in here, which is pretty awesome. And yeah, kit bashing, it's something I don't do as much of that I really want to, but I really do enjoy it when I do it. And then yeah, this, so it's a gorgeous looking robot-y kind of thing here. But again, I don't actually play the games. I'm sure, like a lot of you guys, you get the miniatures just because they look cool and definitely fun to paint. So I want to combine the robot-looking chap, obviously he's got a different name, Dreadnought or whatever it is, yeah, with this guy. And again, I've got no idea what this one's called. I just like the look of him, and I think a little crossover between the two of them is just what I need to do. So first things first, yeah, need to assemble them. So what I'm going to actually do is kind of like fully assemble them, well, as much as I need to, and then have a go at chopping them up and seeing how well they go together. So yeah, got my little snips, got my glue. I'm ready to, take these apart and make them up. So you're going to use the instructions, because sometimes with these kind of kits, you need to sort of put them together in a special way or a certain way, otherwise, they won't go together afterwards. So yeah, just snipping everything out and then assembling and gluing it, like you would sort of normally with these kind of miniatures. So I do like this sort of thing because I enjoy putting things together as much as the painting. Obviously, when I first started this channel, didn't really do a whole lot of painting, especially sort of little miniatures. Painted terrain and scenery pieces. But yeah, really loved enjoying, putting things together, making things. So especially with something like this, where obviously I am going to be making, one thing out of kind of two things. Yeah, pretty cool. Obviously, I do love 3D printing, because that is just, that's just taking things to the next level. But yeah, doing a bit of kit bashing and making things with stuff, that's a lot of fun too. So yeah, say both things kind of like made as much as I need to. And then it is a case of, trying to combine them. Obviously, they're both the same sort of height, which is just perfect, as it does mean they are going to go together really, really well. But yeah, so I'm going to cut them in half, or kind of half. So to make it a little bit easier to work out exactly where I'm going to cut them, yeah, as you can see, a little bit of a marker pen. I mean, it literally is almost like a 45-degree cut through both of them. And the good thing with this sort of plastic, it's not that hard, so it can be cut reasonably easy. I've got one of those cheap little Dremel tools, and when I say cheap, yeah, this thing was about 16 quid. So it does get a little hot, it does overheat every now and then, but yeah, I think I can do what I need to do. Although I did this, and then I found a little hacksaw that I've got, a little hobby hacksaw, which probably would have been quicker and easier, although that would have made probably a too nicer cut. At least with this little cheap tool, the cut was a bit rough and ready, but I think that made it better for joining the two bits together, in that the cuts, yeah, were a little bit messy, weren't too neat, and I think, yeah, worked really well. So cut the robot kind of guy in half. Yeah, it wasn't too bad, but like I say, this thing got as hot as anything, so I left it a little while, as I didn't want it to go pop, and then I cut the 280 kind of thing. Again, when it comes to Warhammer and all the factions and everything else, I don't really know what half of them are called. Again, for me, I'm a very visual kind of person, so I like the look of these, and that's kind of what makes me buy most of the miniatures I get, so obviously even with the kill team, the miniatures I get are very visual ones that I obviously like the look of. So yeah, I don't know anything about Warhammer lore. Yeah, I mean, it's set in the year, is it 40k or something? Because that's what it's called. I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah, so lots of leftover bits, but obviously going to keep all these bits because, well, that's what bits boxes are for. It is for loads of bits. So this little bit, I think it's meant to go at the back, but I like the idea of it going to his head. Yeah. So talking about printed some bases off. For some reason, had some failures. Really not too sure why. Does happen sometimes, not that often. So good old MDF. Yeah, just cut a circle of that out to put on top, because the other thing I don't like doing is wasting stuff. So even when we get something that doesn't quite work properly, yeah, it's worth keeping it because we can still, well, do stuff with it. So the basing, yeah, very simple on this one. Basically just painted the bottom of it with a good old sort of, oh, what's it called? Brain's gone dead. The glue, but not super glue. PVA glue. Oh man, I was going to cut that bit out, but I thought, nah, let's just keep talking. It's funnier for me. It's probably funnier for you. I don't know. So yeah, good old PVA, and then a bit of simple basing. So the basing I'm actually using, rather than buying expensive stuff, I've got a huge big bag of the old like fish tank base. So this bag about 4 or 5 quid, but it's the size of, well, a breeze block. It's absolutely huge, so it'll last forever. So obviously this guy, yeah, when you do Kitbash, there's going to be some gaps because things, well, you're putting things together that probably weren't meant to go together. So good old green stuff. I got the normal green stuff, and I got this, the tube of putty. I haven't really used this much, and in fact, I think when I did use it last, it was quite some time ago, and it's gone rock solid in there. So give me a few seconds. I'm just going to take this away, unblock it, and then I'll be back. So as they say, a few moments later, or sometime later, yeah, I'm back. De-blocked it. Although I can see why I probably didn't use it that much. It's tricky. It's difficult. It comes out. It is incredibly sloppy. Yeah. So I only used it a little bit. And this is probably why I used it once and then just left it and it went rock hard. Because this stuff it's difficult. I thought it'd be easier to sort of squeeze it in, but I didn't appreciate just how wet, fluid, yeah, and sticky the stuff is. So we're going to stick with the good old yellow and blue stuff in the background, mix up loads of that into nice sort of ball shapes. Obviously much firmer, much easier, and yeah, a whole lot nicer and easier to use than the stuff in the tube. So with this, the only real main thing you need to remember is keep your tool wet. Yeah, ooh-ah, madam. So this stuff, it's not that sticky, but when your tool is wet, it makes manoeuvring, manipulating, and just pushing the green stuff around a whole lot easier. Even with my really expensive 2p tool here. I think I got a pack of about 36 of these kind of tools for about 50p. But they do the job. Yeah, so I went around the whole thing, filled in all the sort of gaps I could get to, all the kind of gaps, well, I thought I wanted to fill. And this is how he looks. Obviously the green stuff's great, doesn't take too long, well, to go rock hard and sort of set. Also broke up the base in there with a couple of pieces of cork just to add, well, some sort of rubble and stone. So everything's primed in black, and yeah, we all know how I paint now. So yeah, a bit of dry brushing over the whole thing. And again, this is where I love Warhammer miniatures because they are, well, they're so detailed. Obviously the robots, there's a lot of flat panels. Generally flat panels aren't the best with speed paints, but for this guy, because I'm going to make him look a little bit rough and ready, then yeah, it doesn't matter if the dry brushing does look a little bit sort of well, chalky, scratchy or whatever. Yeah, it won't look too bad at all. But obviously with the dry brushing, to get sort of a smoother look, generally if you dry brush in sort of circular motions, then it does look a lot smoother. But say, because I like the things to look a little bit more rough, ready, scratched and all the rest of it, then yeah, I'll just dry brush in, well, whichever direction I want to go, really. And there we go, so that's how he looks. Again, I love them. I love things looking like black and white. They look really cool. In fact, I did make a kill team using some sort of skeletons in some Space Marine armour. And then, yeah, I left them. I just I primed them in black, dry brushed in white, and then just left them looking like that. I think I may have painted their heads in like a bit of a light green, like glowy effect. But yeah, I love the black and white look, as it really does show off obviously all the definition. So I'm sticking with the basic sort of colours painting here. So the Space Marine half of this sort of, well, monstrosity is going to be good old blue. I think it's the Magic Blue by Army Painter Speed Paints. Absolutely love this one. Goes on really well. And again, so you can see the dry brushing that I've done. I have left it looking kind of scratch marky, which I think's fine for this kind of thing, because I like the idea of this looking weathered, beaten, and all the rest of it. But again, say if you want to get smoother looking, then yeah, with the dry brushing, you really want the dry brush to have a bit of water on it, so it's not dry but it's not wet. Then use the white, and I say do it in circular motions. Yeah, definitely give you a much smoother look to it. But for me, yeah, this is how I want it to look, and yeah, love it. So going round, when you do the panels, you kind of want to do a whole panel in one section, because otherwise the blue will dry, and then when you go to do a bit more, it'll look a bit of a mess. And yeah, even with the Tyranid kind of looking creature, I'm kind of sticking with well, with the basic sort of colours that I always kind of see these in. Again, it just makes it easier for me rather than messing about thinking of what colour to use. Yeah, I'm using the bog standard colours. And yeah, this bit, it really is like painting like numbers. It's so easy, it's so quick, and yeah, thoroughly enjoy it. So guys, yeah, I hope you are enjoying, say, for the month of November. Something I've wanted to do for ages was to try and do, well, a video every day for a whole month. And that's exactly what I'm doing this month of November. And again, I am having lots of fun. At first, I was kind of a bit nervous about it, because obviously the painting of a miniature every day, yeah, there's no hardship whatsoever there. But when you're painting and filming yourself, it does go a bit slower. Well, in fact, it goes a lot slower, because obviously I'm moving cameras, trying to make sure I get the right angle so the camera can see what I'm doing, and obviously making sure, well, I know what I'm painting. But then the editing as well can sometimes take a while. But the one thing this is making me do is it's making me go through my pile of opportunity, and I am picking out, well, loads of bits and pieces I've had projects or ideas for quite some time. So I don't know about you guys, if you've like had the old idea, got a good project, you go out, you buy the miniatures, you're getting ready to make it, and then, well, then you get distracted by rather real life sort of stuff, or you get distracted by another box of miniatures. So for the whites on this, just interrupting that little waffle there, yeah, I've actually mixed plenty of the speed paint medium in with the air white. So the air white is their air range for sort of those spray guns, because yeah, the white speed paint, or the normal white speed paint, I never like it. It always comes out looking, I don't know, dirty and probably more grey than white. So yeah, the air range paint of white and some more speed paint medium worked really, really well. Absolutely love it. And yeah, with the black, again, the Army Painter Speed Paint black, I find sometimes has a bit of a tinge of green in it, which, well, you don't really kind of want. You want it to be black. So I do find the Green Stuff World Dipping Inks, their black is, yeah, it's a nicer black. And like I always say, the dipping ink paints, they are wetter, which works really well, I find, for going in obviously the nooks and the crannies. So you really do get a more of a contrast in colour in the lights and darks. And this orange that I'm using on the base, this is one of my favourite colours, because this colour, depending on how dark the white or the black is underneath, when this dries, you get tinges of orange, brown and yellow. And it's this amber glow dip. So good old Green Stuff World Dipping Inks. Yeah, absolutely love that paint. So again, I'm using some more this speed paint medium. It's something, again, I've had for ages. It's a big old bottle. The size of it is, I think, is it 50 or 60 ounce? Oh, it's 100 millilitres, the bottle. Again, I had that for donkeys, never really used it. So yeah, I'm using that with a variety of paints just to sort of, well, dilute them down, which is exactly what I've done here. So this pink, I wanted it to be there, but I wanted it to be really, well, very subtle. So it's not sort of like a bright pink. And yeah, the speed paint medium certainly works wonders for that. And again, I've used it in with this as well. It's one of those things, once I start using something, it's like, oh yeah, I love this. I go nuts on using it. So where the body is kind of fused into the metal bit, I kind of want the skin to look a little bit sort of, well, red raw, I guess. So yeah, using a combination of the pink that's really watered down or thinned it down with speed paint medium, and the red there from Green Stuff Dipping World. I don't think you quite saw the name. I think that's because it's kind of come off. But I think it's Opulence Dip, or Red Opulence Dip, was the Green Stuff one that I'm using. And again, I love using that because it is so much wetter. It flows really well. And using both together, obviously you can kind of mix them in. So you get that nice sort of hue of pink, but some stronger red areas. So it definitely looks like the flesh has been, well, ripped, torn, shredded, or whatever. And then, yeah, one of the last sort of things to do, really go around, bit of dry brushing with silver. Obviously love doing this over any kind of guns I paint. I typically paint them black and then dry brush with silver, just to give them that silver hue. And then with the metallic bits, yeah, just catching all the edges to make it look like it's been a bit worn. Again, my style, or preferred style, is definitely more grimdark. I like things to look weathered, beaten, bashed. And yeah, they don't look like they just stepped off the production line. That's for sure. And I think it does sort of hide anything you do wrong as well, which is just cool. So yeah, I'm going to make this thing rusty again. I want it battered. So good old dirty down rust. Love this stuff. And you'll see me use this in another video coming up in the next few days. I possibly go to town and maybe use too much. But I love this stuff. So yeah, guys, dirty down rust. If you want to make something look rusty, real simple, real quick, real easy. So as you can see, using the stuff in the little lid, that's obviously it concentrated. And then the parts where I want it to sort of look a bit, well, not as concentrated. Yeah, use a bit of water just to sort of dilute it down. And then, yeah, it just makes it look a little less inconsistent, but definitely makes it look, well, a whole lot better. And that's him just about done. So I think we need to see him in all his glory. Obviously saw it right at the beginning, but yeah, let's see how this chap's turned out. There we go, day 5 of my 30-day painting challenge complete, and love it. As I say, this really is making me sort of, well, do all the little projects, go through all the boxes that I've got, and yeah, start making some things that I've, well, kind of had in my mind for quite some time. Although as much as I am going through all my boxes of opportunity, or pile of opportunity, I do have a couple more new boxes turning up in the next week or so. So keep an eye out for that. And obviously the new Kill Team box set that's going to be out next Saturday. So yeah, keep an eye out for me painting, well, some of the miniatures from that as well. Okay guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. There's another video coming up on the screen soon. If you can watch that, that'd be awesome. And if you can share this with anyone to get them to subscribe, that'd be cool too, because I'm so near 100k. Well, I'm about 9k away, but that's new enough. Anyway, you guys take care. See you in the next one. Bye for now.